Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos.
So, guys, today we are going to talk about last minute Q4 client appreciation. So, we are bringing you last minute Q4 because if you're like me, sometimes there's a great idea up there, but you didn't plan it. Client appreciation ideas. And these are all also because if you didn't plan it, you might be hitting a budget issue, low budget items so that you can show end of year holiday appreciation for your clients without breaking the holiday budget.
Yes, because it's that time of year for a lot of people, and I think like this is a super applicable episode for a lot of our little deadline dancers out there. Like the end of the year is coming and when people think client appreciation, I know that we're seeing right now, because it's still before Thanksgiving when we're recording this, that you're seeing a lot of those pie giveaways, and you've got like pictures with Santa, and you've got all of these things that you're seeing pop up and they're great events. They're fun events. People love them. But just like in everyday life, there can be appreciation notes without the grandeur, if that makes sense.
Right.
And they can still be just as impactful or more impactful with them being those really intimate connections to say, hey, thank you.
And let's be honest, not if we even took budget out of the equation here, how many events do we all have in the next 60 to 70 days as we get through this holiday season? I mean, I have just this week at least 3 that I RSVP'd to. Like, that's not only the ones I was invited to. This is I also feel for agents, this is also the time of year where like your lenders are going to be throwing parties. Your closing attorney might have a party. All of those new construction communities are doing something for you right now. Like one of them tomorrow is they're doing a client appreciation around the corner for agents. It's 1, to appreciate us, 2, to make sure, remember, they're there at the end of the year to get houses sold by the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So like this is also time efficient too. Like I don't want anyone panicking and being like, oh my God, I have to glitter paint 22 wine bottles. I know someone who did that.
I was going to say, are you speaking from experience?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that arts and crafts project.
Still find glitter. I mean, I'm still going to do it this year, but I still find glitter in my house. Okay. The first ones are absolutely free and they take like 5 minutes. And I'm going to tell you, this is probably one of my favorite ideas.
They're the most impactful.
Because it's going to start conversations. Mm-hmm. So if you're not good at having your however many weekly conversations you need to have to build business, this is a great way to start it.
Yes.
I love this. So like texts, calls, social media shout outs, like send a quick text message that say, I would be like, hey, before we get into this crazy busy holiday season, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you. And I hope you have a great end of the year.
Yep. And
I think that's a very non-denominational, in case you don't know what they celebrate. Because, and no matter what, even if your religion or beliefs doesn't have a holiday this time of year, you're still going to be busy. Let's be honest. Like things are happening. We're wrapping up end of year goals, stuff like that. I think end of year KPIs, if you want to talk in business terms. I think that's a great way, and they don't have to respond, but it shows that you actually thought about them for at least 2 seconds to say, hey, hope everything's going well. Hope you have a great end of the year.
And level that one up by, you can just do a voice memo text. Like there's a lot of power in your voice, or do a video, do a little video. I was just going to say that, yeah. I mean, I know a bunch of people have Snapchat, but you can do just a video on your phone, text it to them directly, that kind of thing, that intimate eye connection with the camera and your voice. Like it means so much more than a couple of words. I mean, if you're just going to send the text, but level it up. Say hey, sing Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays to you. Whatever.
Right.
Be memorable. Be
I
cute.
mean,
People, be you. People are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's totally something Brenna would do. I mean,
right? Like mine, if I did a video text, it would be like literally what I just said, but as Roxanne walks across the street. People would be like, "Yep,
right.
that's Alyssa. That
right.
sums it up." So, yeah. There's also some like DIY stuff you can do, and I've actually been considering this, not because I forgot or I don't have time, but I'm someone who loves more of a personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't do like generic pop buys. Like if I do a Halloween pop buy, it's for my clients who I know also love Halloween the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um I was thinking of doing I'm probably going to do them in like a mason jar. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do them. But why can I not think of simmer
Coco?
pot kits.
Oh, I was going to say simmer pot, yeah.
Yes. I remember my mom doing them when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what they called them. They probably called it something different in the 90s. But some people call it like stovetop potpourri. It's
I was
usually
going to say, I think
dried.
it was like a potpourri is what they called it when I
Yeah,
was
and I
younger.
remember my mom having like a special little ceramic thing that sat on the stove. But you can just do them in like a cooking pot. Like if I do one this year, I'll just go get a pot I'm never going to actually cook in. But it's just like usually cinnamon sticks, some type of dried citrus fruit. There's
Yeah.
all different recipes.
All
You can
spice,
Pinterest
like,
all
yeah.
sorts of recipes. Um,
Dry
and just
cherries, those kinds
yeah,
of things. Yeah.
put it in a cute little jar, or even if you don't want to do the jars, like if you're doing it more of a pot buy than a gift, you can do like the little cellophane baggies with a cute bow and a tag that
Mm-hmm.
explains how to do it. I was kind of thinking of doing those because I love those in my house.
Yep.
And
they're
they're a great,
so easy. They're very holiday colored. Like they're pretty. Whether they use them
right.
as a simmer pot or not, like those are very holiday vibe ish.
Yes. Yes. And like they're non-denominational.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to put a Christmas tree on it or a menorah or I can't remember the light fixture for Kwanzaa, but it can just be a winter simmer pot.
Yep.
So if you're being cautious about that, which I think is a smart way to go, you can like there just be a winter simmer pot. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be, and you don't have to rush to get it delivered before a certain holiday.
Right.
You can be that week between Christmas and New Year's and be like, hey, winter is still winter in January. So
You're right. You're right. Oh my gosh. The other easy one, especially if you can find somebody locally that does these, and I just found some at a craft fair the other day, that they're like those wooden, or they can be like acrylic holiday ornaments, right? That say like home for the holidays, or the ones that I found actually have are zip code specific. Like it's
ooh,
it's great to be in 28658 or whatever for
I like
Christmas.
that
And
idea.
they're cute, they're beautiful, and it's like, especially if you do a lot of business locally and you know those zip codes, you just get a few of them and pass them out. That's just something to keep on their tree,
Right.
something that they'll remember every year when they unbox it, put it in there.
Well,
And
that's what,
super inexpensive too if you're not
right.
getting giant ornaments
Right.
like that.
Or like to one up that, to ninja move that one, I do for everyone who bought a house with me this year, um, I do a nice bottle of champagne with one of those ornaments that says
Hmm.
our first holidays in our new home.
Yeah,
And that's what gets delivered. So that's a great way to like if you need
that
to
is a
one
good
up
one.
it for someone. And I also like my clients who buy big expensive houses get the better bottle of champagne.
Hmm.
Like there was a bottle of Veuve last year. Not something I would
Ooh,
normally buy.
ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I love that. You can also do like I wouldn't do homemade cookies because God forbid you get someone sick and people are weird about food.
I know.
But if you know like a local baker who does them, totally be like, "Hey, can you make them for me?" And like maybe even bring them the cellophane baggies. They'll label them so it has all the information for food allergies and stuff. And then just on the front, put your label.
Hmm.
That's a great, even if you're like, or like, another, you could one up it, have like a cookie exchange at your house or maybe the clubhouse in your community or something like that. Um, or like for you,
People love this time of year to get together and do these,
yes,
fun it doesn't have to be expensive, like inexpensive things. I've seen a bunch of classes locally for wreath making, and just like bring your own stuff. Like, we're going to have it here, but bring your own stuff. We're going to do this together as like this fun community event, which is just cool, and you might meet some new people, might get some networking in while you're there.
Or like a gift wrapping party.
Yes.
Like, I think that's a great idea. Like, even if you like have to, like, because I couldn't host it at my house. My house is tiny. But maybe see if like your lender has a conference room they'd let you use after hours, or the closing attorney, if they let you use their closing room after hours and they can be there. Like, it's great for them. Maybe see if the local bar or pub, it might be a little more cost, but has a banquet room where you're like, hey, we're just gonna gift wrap and buy beverages, so we don't need a bartender upstairs. We'll all come downstairs, order whatever we want, food, beverage. What's the fee to use the room if it's not already booked? Like that.
I was going to say, like, this is a great way to utilize those local connections too. So even places like the library, or here we have a couple of little like not event centers. They're a lot smaller, but like they host like local line dancing classes there. They'll have baby showers there. But you're supporting people inside your community too. That at that point, it's just reciprocal, which is the idea.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not necessarily the in-person, let's decorate cookies and let's make wreaths, like, you can always go the digital route, like we started with the video text, things like that. But if you want to, again, level up, do something a little bit bigger, Starbucks just released their Christmas menu, send out a few gift cards. They're super easy right now. And that's why I love doing Starbucks and Dunkin', because you can literally just pop in their phone number and it'll text them like the cute little picture of the gift card and your message. It's easy. They have the themed gift card pictures on there now. So you can do Christmas, you can do thank you, you can do thinking of you. And these aren't just, Q4 specific. These are things that you can do quick and easy throughout the year.
I sent one. So if you have an iPhone, you can do it right from the messaging app. Like, it'll say send a gift, and it'll give you the options. And I sent one. One of my friends from high school connected me with an agent in San Diego to do referrals back and forth. I sent her a quick little $5 Starbucks gift card. I was like, hey, girl, thanks. Like, I really appreciate you even just making that connection.
Yeah.
I use those all the time for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And you can do different dollar denominations. So like, I did $5 because she literally was like, hey, I want to introduce you to someone. Okay, cool. You have to be careful. Don't want to break any rules, but you can set different dollar amounts for different things.
Yeah.
So this is one. I did this for our team. Excuse me. When I was on a team, we had like a morning pump up the jam playlist. And I was like, yo, what are all your songs? Because our theme for the year was whatever it takes. So there's that Imagine Dragons song.
Yep.
What about just sharing a holiday playlist? And Brenna, I'm not a Scrooge. I do want you to know, as I was doing the dishes yesterday, or actually I was making dinner, I asked, I can't say her name because she'll turn on right now, but she starts with an S and ends with an Erie. She's literally right next to me and she'll start to play me holiday pop music last night.
Oh, nice.
So I'm not a Scrooge. I just don't get the point of decorating for just me. But create a holiday playlist. Maybe make it public so other people can add to it. Now, if you do that, keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it, right?
No one's adding inappropriate things. But that's a great way to say, hey, if you guys are having guests over, you need a little pick-me-up, I've already curated this for you. You don't even have to worry about it. And here you go. That's also a great idea. Like, do that 4th of July. Hey, heard y'all might be having a barbecue. Here's my favorite. And you don't even have to create it. Maybe you just find one that you're going to share.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, because, man, I could fall down a rabbit hole trying to create a playlist. It would take me 6 years because that's just who I am as a person when it comes to music. But there are so many good ones already out there. Copy and paste.
Right. And especially if you're an agent who's known for liking music. Like, I know there's an agent in Charlotte. He literally, like, I don't know if it's a side hustle. I think it's a passion project for him. But, like, he plays acoustic sets at different bars and parties and things. That would be a great idea for him.
Yeah.
To, like, create, hey, here's, you all know that music is my thing. Here's
my go-to.
My playlist of my favorite musicians for this situation. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
For sure.
the next one, I love. I love, love, love. I'll let you talk about it, but I've done this multiple times.
Well, do it because you've done this before.
Hold on, I have a cat on my keyboard.
Speaking of
New
charitable
computer,
donations.
same cat. She just deleted the whole thing. Right, Jerry? Yeah, she is.
She's a charity case.
Oh, you're lucky. You're cute. So I have done this. Like my client recently, her cat died while we were trying to sell her house. So I sent obviously a sympathy card, but in it I wrote, "Hey, just want to let you know that in honor of you and your pet, I made a donation in your name or their name to such and such organization." And it was like a cat rescue or something. I've done it for causes that I had a client whose husband had lupus. And when we closed on one of their properties, it was a commercial property that they owned. And while it was hard because it was also like her passion business, she was still in the business. She just didn't need an office anymore because it had gone digital. I, instead of buying them a closing gift, I made a large donation to like the American Lupus Foundation.
Nice.
And let them know like, hey, because we're also going to sell your house. So we're not trying to add stuff to it. I made this donation here in your honor. I think that's a great way. And you can just maybe write it in a holiday card or a blank note card. Sometimes that organization, when you do it, will offer to send an e-card.
A receipt,
I like the more personal touch of a handwritten note. I'm a firm believer in them. I've got more than one closing from them. But I just think that it shows that you care in general. 2, if you do it to something that is specific to them, that shows that you care about them.
And that you're paying attention to what they're, passionate and sharing about too. Like I can think of a few people that, there's different local humane societies that keep coming up, or like you said with like the Lupus Foundation, people whose kids are, going to treatment for this, that, or the third, or their parents, or everybody has something that they're deeply invested in. So I think that's a great idea.
And if you want to escalate this as a complete ninja move for next year, make it known that every time you close, you give a portion of your compensation to some organization. I know an agent who used to do it. Every time he did it, it was specific. He let the client pick the organization. I know some people, like I'm doing this next year. I'm announcing it soon. It's all going to, I've got to figure out if I can donate to the local shelter because they are government organized. So I need to go talk to them. Or if it's not them, it is going to be a local rescue that I helped with an event last weekend.
That's awesome.
Every time I close, this amount will go to that rescue.
Then you got to get one of those big checks, one of those big branded checks. So you can get one. Yeah. That's a good photo op too for every closing you have.
I like it better than the "we just sold her, we got the keys."
Yeah.
Because I'm bad at closing photos because they're awkward.
I know. But every time I do it, I'm like, "Hi, do you want a picture?" I do get some, but I'm always like,
right. But it's also, and I mean, not that you should only do good things to market yourself. We're not going to take videos of you giving bags of food to homeless people. At the same time, there are proper and polite and good etiquette ways to talk about this.
Right.
And use it as a marketing point. So there could be something, maybe you make a video about like, hey, just handled this closing and this is what was going on. And I made sure my client knew I was thinking about them. Some way with good etiquette and class to bring it up as a market. Now, if you're going to ninja move this and do it every closing, then the big check is the thing, because that's, I don't want to say a money maker, but it's a
good one. People love the big check pictures. They really do. Another thing that we can do this time of year, this time of year specific, is actually like touch base with them on some holiday tips and tricks and recipes and, home safety, budget-friendly gifts. I know that you're all on Instagram or TikTok and you're seeing all the Dollar Tree DIY decor and things like that. Like those are easy. Those are fun. Pop those in your email list. Send it as a text specifically if you know that they have kids and you're like, hey, We've got a lot of days off of school coming up. Like, here are 3, you know, activities from the Dollar Tree under $10. Keep your kids busy for at least an hour.
Right. Or even here's community events that are happening. Like school's closed next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like yesterday was Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
I reposted that the roller skating rink was open. Like 4 people were like, oh, thanks. We didn't realize
That's
they'd be
awesome.
open during the day because it's not their normal hours. So post like things about that are happening in the community too. People may not realize that there's stuff, businesses that wouldn't usually be open
Right.
are going to be open because they know school is out.
Right. Same thing. Like, don't forget the local tree lighting is, November 30th or December 8th or whatever it is. Send them a link. So it's just make it easy. The easier it is for people, because like you said, this is a super busy time of year. Things get lost, things get forgotten. And it's not something that they can look at and be like, oh my gosh, she's so annoying. She sends me all of this stuff. Like, that's something to be like, oh, cool. Yeah, maybe they're going to go to the parade. Maybe they're not. But that was helpful.
I was just going to say, like, here, and it may not, so here, reverse that. Here, parades are a big thing, like holiday parades, which is so weird to me because we don't do those in New York. It's too freaking cold. No one's coming outside for a parade.
Right.
But they're a huge thing here. I mean, there's one town, the whole town shuts down the same Tuesday every December because they have for like 100 years now. Even if you're not going, or those people aren't going to go, and maybe they are the Scrooges, they know which roads to avoid on what days at what hour.
Right.
Like, I remember when I moved here, I live right near Christmas Town, USA. It's one of the biggest Christmas light shows supposedly on the East Coast.
I was going to say, in a big chunk of space, I think.
Yeah. So, like, when I first moved into Gastonia and was still commuting into Charlotte, I forgot. And I got stuck in traffic for hours the first day. From then on until it was over, I only worked half days at the office. And when I explained to my boss why, he was like, oh, yeah, you got to get home.
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're leaving at like noon, go home, like take your lunch on the road, and then just work the afternoons at home because it makes no sense. Because I would literally... people start lining up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it ends at 10 o'clock at night. So from 4 until probably 11, by the time it clears out, traffic is a mess for like 10 miles each way. So yeah, so that's another way. Like, people may not be going and you might be like, oh, I don't want to send it. I know they're not going to go. But they may have forgotten that parade reminder or that festival or whatever was that day. And they're like, oh, thanks for the reminder, so I can reroute around that.
Travis
or I can
just
work
got
from home instead.
Caught up in Mooresville yesterday. He was dropping off parts in a Veterans Day parade in downtown Mooresville, and I was like, I wish you'd told me. I knew that there was a parade going on. I could have told you, but...
Is he not getting your newsletter?
Right?
Travis, read the newsletter.
Open your email. Exactly.
I mean, you did the work. He just didn't read it.
That's true. I mean, at that point, it's in his ballpark. But one thing I do want to throw in here too, when we're talking about like reaching out to your sphere and things like that, it's great to connect with clients, friends, family, that kind of thing. Also, reach out to those real estate agents that you know. I mean, especially ones that have shared you on Facebook, referred you business this year. Like, those and I don't know how many times we've said this. This is a lonely business sometimes. Having those friendships and connections inside the business that we work, live, breathe, sleep every day in is just so invaluable. Like, you keep those relationships alive too while you're intermingling in your own little communities. Remember that agent in Texas that sent you a referral this year, because gosh, they're important too.
Yeah, or even in your area that maybe you don't connect with often. I had one reach out to me the week of the hurricane, and I see her here and there. I admire her greatly. She is one of, I don't know if she's like top in production, but knowledge and skill and connect. Like, Christy, if you're listening to this, I want you to know how much I admire you, and I hope you know that without me having to say it right now. But she reached out to me after the hurricane and was like, hey girl, you okay over there? Because she, like, our town kind of got hit a little. She's like, you good? Do you need anything? And I was like, no, how about you? Like, you just had surgery. Why are you asking me? I reconnected with her, hadn't seen her or really heard from her because life's been busy. But last week, something else happened in life that I knew may cause her some distress. I reached out and was like, you okay over there? Like, you good? Those texts, even, they should be heartfelt. They should be people that you care about. But one of our big themes the last 4 months has been mental health.
Yep.
those texts could brighten someone's day and you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So even let's just take holidays out of the equation. The text, the voice memo, the video, just do them regularly. Don't do them because you care.
Just be a good human.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
just be a good human.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because it all comes down. It all comes around full circle. Like, if you do things for the right reasons, and that's why, like, I started a local mom's Facebook group.
I saw
yesterday
your first event.
And one of the rules in there, like, we'll have days to support your business because there's a lot of local moms here that do, crafting and knitting and quilting and all kinds of cool stuff. And that's great. But don't just show up to post your business. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Agreed.
Be involved, be a part of things outside of that, because you get back what you put into anything in this life, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whether it's, anything, really anything. You get what you put in. And I think that's the way it should be. So,
yep. Well, on that note, I think that's the perfect ending point.
Yeah.
That is good. We done.
That was a pretty bow on top of our present for you today. And we will be coming back with a, what are we calling it? Realtor safety episode? We have a Marine on deck that is coming.
Ladies, prepare yourselves. Yes, you might want to watch the video on this one.
He's a wonderful human, and we're very excited to have him. He's got some really, really important information and lots of insight, and he actually teaches local classes, too, for anybody who's here in North Carolina that is looking to do, self-defense or just, self-awareness and situational awareness. All of those things are super important, and unfortunately, they're getting more and more important. So. Yes. Make sure you tune in because we will be having him as a guest, and that'll be coming out soon.
I feel like, I don't know if we've ever talked, like, I love NCIS, and so I'm kind of feel like I'm going to be interviewing Gibbs, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh, good. Yes.
I'm very excited. I put makeup on because I thought he was coming.
I'll let him know that we got all dressed up for nothing.
No, don't.
Oh my God. Oh well. All right. Well, that's it. That's what we have for you. If you are a little deadline dancer, you still have time to make people happy, brighten their holidays, heck, brighten their regular day of the week. It doesn't have to be holiday themed at all, but that's what we have for you. So we will see you next week.
See you next week, y'all.
We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.